6A. So like I told you all in class, I said I was going to send you a video redescribing what we did. And then after this video, I will send you a picture of what I want you to copy into your foldable for tomorrow's lesson. But as of right now, we started with these problems in class today. We did A together, and we set up, and I believe we solved F, but I wanted to go through them again. So when you are adding and subtracting decimals, remember to line up your decimal points. And then you have to add zeros to make the numbers even in the back. When I say in the back, I mean behind the decimal point. You also want to make sure that for each problem you actually write the sign, either a plus if you're adding or a minus if you are subtracting. That way you know how to get to the correct answer. So A, B, and C are pretty basic. They're just addition problems. You'll add straight down and carry as if there were no decimal point. And then at the end of the problem, you will just bring your decimal point down. And those are the correct answers that you see in pencil. But let's look at these few subtraction problems for D, E, and F. A couple of them have borrowing, and I will send you an additional link today for you to watch a video about subtracting with borrowing or regrouping, but I'm just going to show it to you on this page. So we start on the right. 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay. We cannot take 7 from 4, so we have to borrow from 5, our neighbor. So cross out the 5, make it a 4, and then this becomes 14. 14 minus 7 is 7. We can't take 6 from 4, so we have to borrow from 9. 9 becomes 8, and 4 becomes 14. 14 minus 6 is equal to 8. 8 minus 3 is equal to 5. And because this is subtracting with decimals, we're going to bring this decimal straight down and put it there. Okay. And problem E. 2 minus 1, again, we start at the back, is 1. 6 minus 8 we can't do. We also have nothing to borrow from a 0, so we have to start all the way at the 5. 5 becomes 4. 0 becomes 10, and now we can borrow from it and make it a 9 and put our 1 there. So 16 minus 8 is 8. 9 minus 9 is 0. 4 minus 3 is 1. And bring our decimal point down. Okay. And then F is one of these special ones that have just zeros at the end. And we looked at this in class and we said we can rewrite this problem by taking 1 away from the top and 1 away from the bottom number. Okay. So we can rewrite this. I'm skipping a space so you know it's not the answer. It's 13.99 and 9.08. Draw my line, line up my decimal points, put my subtraction sign there. 9 minus 8 is 1. 9 minus 0 is 9. And then 13 minus 9 is 4. And bring our decimal point down. I also want to show you a couple of problems from the guided practice in class. So these are on page 176 in your math book. We're going to look at numbers 1, 3, and 4 because it is a word problem. So when you are solving these and you don't have the boxes because you don't in your textbook, you're going to start by writing the numbers on top of each other. So 14.7. Now we have 87.9, so we need to put our decimal point first and then build around our decimal point. Our decimal points have to be in a line. Okay, so we have 87.9. Draw the line underneath and put a plus because the problem is addition. 7 plus 9 is 16, carry a 1. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 7 is 12. Put our 2 down here, carry a 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 8 is 10. And we can't forget about this decimal point. So 14.7 plus 87.9 is equal to 102.6. We can check to make sure our decimal point goes in the right place by doing some estimation. 14.7 is close to 15. 87.9 is close to 88. If we added 15 plus 88, we got 13, carry a 1, and 103. 103 is very close to 102.6, so that answer is reasonable. We're now going to skip to problem number 3 in your book. Okay, so we'll start by writing our number at the top. Subtraction, you have to start with the first number. So 52.1. Okay, and then we start with our decimal point. So we put our decimal point right underneath it and build the other number around it. So 31.47. Draw the line and subtract. Now remember, we have to have the same number of digits behind the decimal. So we can add this special number of 0. Okay. Now we have exactly the same numbers that line up just like we have for our other problems. Borrow from the 1, make it a 0, and that becomes a 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. We can't borrow from 0, so we have to borrow from 2. It becomes a 1. This 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 1 minus 1 is 0. 5 minus 3 is 2. And then we can put in our decimal point straight down. We can estimate with 52 being close to 50, 31 being close to 30, and subtract to get 20. That is very close to this answer, so our answer is reasonable at 20.63. Okay. Now let's look at number 4. Abdullah is making a snack mix for his family camping trip. So that's just something to eat. Okay. He added 14.52 ounces of peanuts to 27.35 ounces of granola. How many ounces of snack mix does he have? So we've got this keyword of added, and that tells us to add our numbers together. So we're going to add together 14.52 and this 27.35. So we're going to put our decimal point and then build around it. So we've got a 3 and a 5 on the back side. In front we have 27. And added means add. So 2 plus 5 is 7. Notice I'm writing my numbers directly below. 5 plus 3 is 8. 4 plus 7 is 11. Carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Plus 2 is 4. And then bring down our decimal point. So ounces of snack mix, he has 41.87 ounces. Okay. Now I have 2 other examples of problems that you need to be able to see and know what to do. And this first one, now these are not in your book. I made these problems up, but this first one is like one of the problems you have to do tonight for homework on page 179. So again, it's addition. We can start with whichever number we'd like, but let's go ahead and start with the first one. So 0.497. And then we have to use our second number. But we don't see a decimal point. If there is not a decimal point written, just like we did with percentages, it's back here. So we still have to line up our decimal points and then put 21. Now we have to fill in our zeros wherever we are missing a number to make sure that everything has a matching place value. So 7 plus 0 is 7. 9 plus 0 is 9. 4 plus 0 is 4. 0 plus 1 is 1. 0 plus 2 is 2. And we add our decimal point. Okay. So this is 21.497. And then we're going to do one more, kind of like guided practice problem number 3. So we'll practice one more like that. So we have to start with our first number with subtraction, 92.8 minus, we have 15.72. So we have to add our decimal point and then build around it, 15.72. Okay. We have this space without a number, so we will fill it with a 0. We can't take 2 from 0, so we have to borrow from our 8, make it a 7 and make that a 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. 7 minus 7 is 0. We can't take 5 from 2, so we have to borrow from the 9. It becomes an 8. This 2 now is a 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. 8 minus 1 is 7. And bring our decimal point down. If we wanted to estimate, this 92.8 would round to a 93. This 15.72 would round to a 16. And then we can subtract. So that's an 8 and 13. 13 minus 6 is 7. 8 minus 1 is 7. 77, 77. Almost the exact same number. Our answer makes sense. And that's it. So in just a few moments, I will also upload the picture for flap 2 in your foldable, so you will have the right information in the right places for our estimating products lesson later this week.